my parents were far from rich. There was times where it was peak, but alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
tough times make tough men.
Aye. Go on.
Yeah, and now when you look back at it, it's like you don't complain about anything. There's guys in the ends that can't come to your fight. They come with some nonsense excuses and that. Shout out to the time wasters, bro.
Hey, listen, now he's talking.
There's too many of them, but that's a story for another day. And as I got older, I start to understand it more. And I look at people, I said, that guy, why should he be a better fighter than me? I got 2 arms, he got 2 legs, he got 2 arms, 2 legs. He's throwing punches, throwing kicks. Why should he do it better than me?
Yeah.
What's stopping me from doing it?
That's nice.
Yeah. I remember after the fight, before the fight, when I posted, I'm getting guys messaging me like, yo, make sure you smash him up.
Yeah, make sure you bang him out. Yeah,
Make sure you smash him up. You see what South Africans are doing in Somalia? I say, bro, whether that's happening or not, I still need to smash this guy.
Yeah, regardless.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, if me and you are fighters, I can't control if you're better than me. You're training somewhere else. I need to make sure I can be the best I can be. Because I can't control what you do.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to the After Hours podcast. Take a second to obviously appreciate you guys, the journey that you're on with me. We're growing. I'm growing, and you lot are helping me grow. So you're on the same journey as me.
You get a finger as well, man, for yourself.
You know what? You know what? Like a lot, bro. Today I got a special brother with me. Alhamdulillah, he's done amazing things. I think he's obviously, everyone's got their own opinions, but I think he's the front runner, and obviously he's the one that created the whole Somalis that are into the MMA. Personal, that's for me. I think that personally. So alhamdulillah, I got Muhidin Abubakar. MashaAllah, bro. How are you, akhi? Hold on.
Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
How are you, akhi?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Can't complain, man.
You said one thing when we walked in here. You said, I thought I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So thank you. You had a fight in Coventry.
Yeah, I had a grappling competition yesterday.
Yeah, it
didn't go my way, but yes, I thought, you know what?
You didn't have to mention that.
Nah, it's cool. We take the L's, we take the wins, and it's nothing.
How was it?
No, it's grappling comps are like, just to stay active. For me, it's like pre-season or friendlies. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Keep me busy. But I know what the real work is in it.
Yeah. So is it different then?
It's just grappling. It's just a grappling competition.
What's that then? Just like shake hands, couple of sabahad.
Yeah, basically sabahad. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously people know you as a fighter, MMA fighter. I'd like to go back to how you got into it, and that first thought when you thought, I'm going to be a professional fighter and I'm going to stick to it, because I thought I was going to be a footballer.
What happened, man?
I didn't stick to it. I'm saying
knee injury.
Well, listen, don't even joke. I got one for 6 years, same knee injury. But talk to me, man. What made you get into it in the first place?
This is my most commonly asked question.
Okay,
like if I had FAQs, this would be at the top.
I thought it was a banging question. I'm sorry, man. Everyone asking you that.
Good. Nah, but it's cool. I started training when I was about 10, 11-ish, just to stay out of trouble, constantly fighting and that. And then with time, it just got a bit more serious. Like, it was never, when I started, like, competition, it didn't even come to my head. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of a thing like they could ever be so. It just didn't even cross my mind. Like, I don't think I even thought about it. And then a couple years later, when I started getting a bit more serious into my training, and then that's when I kind of got like the little buzz for it. Because I started off with karate when I was about 10, 11. Just training a couple of years. But when you're 10, 11, it's not the most important thing in the world to you.
Of course not, no.
Saturday morning, mom says, all right, wake up, 10 a.m, karate.
Karate class.
Oh, man, I just got this new game. I want to carry on playing. And a couple of times I probably said, Ma, I don't want to
go this week. Yeah.
And then, but as time went on, one of my boys was like to me, one time just having a little wrestling match and that. We just play fighting, and then he was like, oh, I should come to my MMA gym and that. I was like...
What age is that? So as time went on?
About 13, 14.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, cool. And then when I went there, it's like, it was very physical. It's very real, do you know what I'm saying? It's not like restricted like other traditional arts and that. And then it's like, initially I just went there just to check it out.
Yeah.
I think that same week I must have went like 4 or 5 times on like the first week. Then the next thing you know, I'm like, Yeah, give me the unlimited membership. Give me like, I'm just there every day, and just like a gym rat basically.
But that was your friend that told you to come in the first place?
Yeah.
So-
He ain't training now though.
Oh yeah, so
he's long gone.
okay. So where are you from? And was there a lot of people you looked up to that were in that field in the first place?
I'm from Newham, East London.
East London, okay.
But them times, I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I can
like,
imagine.
even to this day, like there's a couple guys that are like where I'm at kind of, but there's not anyone who's like made it out through fighting from Newham. There hasn't been anyone yet.
Okay, so training started at age 13. You got into it officially, like properly. When was your first fight? I can't imagine it was like straight away.
No. So when I was training karate, I did like a few competitions like here and there. And then as I was training MMA from about 13, 14, when I got to about 15, 16, I was still having a few like more kickboxing fights and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I went to MMA, my first MMA fight was when I was 18 or 19.
So what's that MMA? Is that all in
mixed
one?
martial art. Yeah, that's the cage fighting.
Yeah.
The barbarians.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
The barbaric stuff.
And still you didn't want to take it like professional. At 18.
I think by the time I had my first MMA fight,
Mm.
even when I was fighting kickboxing, my goal was in the end fight MMA. But just for now, we're just fighting kickboxing. But it's just a matter of like when, I don't know, but that's the end goal, innit? That's the end goal. But when I did start MMA, I knew I was all in kind of thing.
Mashallah. And school? That's out the window already.
No.
Sorry.
I,
You were studying.
I went to school, man. I went to school.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you went 100% into the fight.
So, finished at 11. I was training. Went college.
Training at the same time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not as much as I'd have liked to, obviously. But when I finished college, that's when I was done. I said, worst case, if this don't work out, let's say I'm 27, 28, it don't work out, I can go back to uni at 27, 28. What's stopping me from doing that? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you say that though. You say that. But how was that conversation with your parents? How was that?
So, like, my parents already knew, like, I was taking it seriously, even when I was, like, getting college and that. And my parents were supporting me and whatnot. And then a couple of times we had this conversation, like, like someone might bring it up. Oh, what are you going to do after college? In my mind, the answer is set in stone. I'm training full time. This is what I'm doing after college. That's what was in my mind.
At that age, you're hard-headed and no one can really tell you nothing.
After college, it turned out to be what happened.
Yeah,
but in my dad's mind, it was like, it was more like, oh, he's going to go uni and then he can do what he wants. And I was just, in my head, I was just thinking like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
And then when you got there, what happened?
And then when I got, about a few months before, I think I was in, so basically the end of college, I was in Thailand. I was training in Thailand. I went for a little 1 month holiday and my dad come with me. This is the first time. And then I'll never forget this conversation. I was with a guy named Ali. A guy named Ali was with me. And he said to me, like, he asked this question. So me, Ali and my dad were eating, having dinner. And then he said, Muhi, like, what's your plan? Like, now, or something like that. He said something along them lines.
In front of your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, this question again. Because you know when this question happens and then, my answer is different to his answer, it gets a little bit like, not heated, but in the sense that, there's a little bit of animosity because, like, I'm disagreeing and...
Yeah.
Or I'll agree, but in my head, really, I'm thinking, that's not my plan.
Yeah.
But then, I always kept the respectful, do you know what I'm saying? And then, Ali asked, and I was like...
But wait, hold on. Did he ask on purpose?
No.
Okay.
This guy's from Jordan.
Okay, so
he's
just a normal question.
Yeah, just a normal question.
But he don't know that you and your dad have already had this conversation a million
many times. Yeah, like, who hasn't had this conversation? So it was just a thing, like... he's older than me. He's like, now he's probably like 30. Like, he just seemed like a little brother, you know what I'm saying? Just... And he goes to me, so then I said, I remember very clearly, before I even got to, before words even come out of my mouth, my dad answered the question.
He's going to uni,
he said, he's gonna finish college, he's gonna go to uni, and after he can do what he wants. And then Ali backed it. He backed me proper. Like, he came up with an answer better than what I could have even said.
What did he say?
There was another guy called Max. Shout out to Max.
Should I give him?
Hey, go on, give Max a
I'll give Max some.
Max was also in Thailand at the time, and he's 1 year younger than me. Ali said to me, he said to my dad, he's like, why doesn't he do what Max what Max said to me. Max said, I'm gonna finish education. I'm gonna go full time training, and if it doesn't work out, in the future I can go back to education. But these years, once they're gone in your youth in sport.
True.
And I was like, yeah, that plan. I just went with it.
But it's true though, isn't it?
And then my dad was like, yeah, whatever. And then then I think my dad like kind of accepted it, and I think that was kind of the turning point. And I was thinking, you know what? It's a very smart answer. Like, sport is a very short career.
It is.
You got what, 15 years, 20 years if you're super lucky. You can't afford 20 to 23. Like, this is some young years. Yeah, like these are years that are very important. So yeah, man, you can't waste those years, innit? And then.
Did your dad see you fight then, first and foremost? Did he see you before you had these? I want to go uni. Don't go uni.
No, I didn't want to go uni. I never wanted to go uni.
No. He said you go uni.
Yeah, he did.
Did he see you fight?
Yeah, he did see me fight. And I think the more he was seeing me fight, the more he was realizing, like, he's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And he's doing well at it. And it's not just it's not a dream that's...
Pipeline, yeah.
It's not a...
Pipe dream, sorry.
Yeah, it's not a dream that's far away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing it. This is how it goes. It starts like this, starts like this, starts like this. And, like, I remember before my last fight, one of my cousins said to me, he said, you know, when... Like, before this fight, I was 3-0 as a professional. He said, do you remember when I was like, when you were 3-0 as an amateur, we had this conversation, you were like, right, it's getting a bit serious now. It's like, and now we're 3-0 pro, it's like, right, it's getting a bit serious, it's getting more serious now, do you know what I'm saying?
Is that now?
Yeah. We said this when I was an amateur 3-0, one of us said to each other, like, this is getting serious, isn't it? And now, 4 or 5 years later, we had the same conversation. We're like, do you remember when we said it was getting serious? Like, now it's getting serious.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's going to get serious again in the future.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? So, like, it wasn't a dream that was just, like, you know, just a stupid dream with no plan. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I was actually taking the right steps, and like, my parents could see that I was taking it seriously.
MashaAllah, that's good, man. Do you feel like the sport has respect now?
I think a lot more. Not fully. I just read something a few days ago. One of my friends was like, he was on a bus, and I think his boxing gloves was hanging out, and then some lady started speaking to him and that, and then she said, "Oh, you're a boxer, blah blah blah." She's like, "Oh, my husband used to box and this and that," and she just going on and on, blagging on about her husband.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm an MMA fighter," and it's like the whole tone changed and that. So you need to get a real job and that. She switched on him.
Now, why do you think that is then? Why do you think that is?
I think just naturally a cage, it just doesn't look friendly. Like, a ring is very, like, you know...
It reminds me, you know, every time I see a cage fight...
You just think of the films where they're dashing the hammers, let them fight, and
some
like, gladiator stuff.
You watched the first Spider-Man?
Long time ago.
He tries to be Spider-Man and he goes into a cage, and then... That's the first fight I've seen in the cage, and it looks a bit rough.
Yeah, it's like...
Barbaric, what you said before.
Yeah, and... Like, you know, when they do these films, they look at it like from like downwards, and they're just like, oh, I can't see nothing. There's your cage, you're locked.
Yeah.
It's not like that, man. If you really want a way out, there's a way out. Once the fight's done, it's done. So, yeah, I think slowly, innit? I think the people in the sport, when they get respect, it gives MMA more respect. Like, Khabib come along, highly respected. You realize, like, yo, this guy is actually a normal human. If not even a normal human, he's a good person.
I think that was the highlight of MMA then when he was around.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, these guys are actually normal people. And like, MMA just started go mainstream, and people realized that, yo, they're not animals, innit? They're normal people. They just do this. This is their little thing they do, and that. And that's it.
Okay, so when you decided, I'm not going uni, officially, after Ali, Jazakallah, thanks for Ali.
Shout out
Shout out to Ali. After that, and you decided, I'm not going to go uni, I'm going to do this. When was your first official MMA fight then?
One thing quickly about Ali, you know, it's funny.
Go on.
This, and I like to think about this because it shows me how far I've come in it. That time I remember it was August 2017. I went to Thailand. Ali was a professional fighter. I already had about maybe 5 professional fights. I had no MMA fights at this point, no amateur MMA fights. And now my last fight that I had in Abu Dhabi, me and Ali fought on the same event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In Abu Dhabi.
In UAE?
Yeah.
You fought that guy, isn't it, the South African one?
Yeah. So, like, I was thinking, like, wow, imagine I had no fights. This guy was already finished his amateur career, in his professional career.
Oh, nice.
He ended up fighting the UFC, had his time there, and then I see 5 years later, I'm on the same event as him. Yeah. There was a press conference, and we were sitting next to each other, and I'm there not getting no questions, and I was just there thinking, like, It's mad.
It is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Because Ali, I remember when I was in Thailand, he used to see me walking to the gym, and then he'd be like, "Oh, jump on my moped." He'd like give me a ride to the gym, and he was the one that said like, "You should just get a moped. You should just rent a moped." Like, you know what I'm saying? He was just looking out for me back then, and then look where we are now, kind of thing. Like times have changed, but I like to think about it to see that I've kind of stayed on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so going back to your first fight, how did you feel and when was it?
First MMA fight.
First MMA fight.
It was 1 month after Thailand.
After Thailand.
Yeah. So August I was there.
Yeah.
September I fought.
2017.
Yeah, I believe 2017.
And your parents knew about it, everything?
They knew about it. I was training. It was just another competition for me, really, in terms of what it was. Yeah, I was like, oh, finally I'm fighting MMA again. Like, finally fighting MMA, which was the end goal, obviously, like I said. Of course. But yeah, it wasn't too...
It wasn't a spectacle. It was...
Yeah, it's like, I've got a job, I'll go do it, and yeah. I didn't make too much of the occasion, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've realised when it comes to fighters, the training kind of overtakes all the fights because they train so long. The fight is just one day.
And honestly, if you do make too much of the event, that's when people say get caught in the lights and it's like a day in headlights, and that's when you get like get starstruck, and you're like, next thing you know, half the fight is gone, and it's like you're just about finding yourself.
I seen someone say, MMA fighter, I seen him say, I don't care what happens to me. I could break my bones while I'm fighting. I just don't want to disappoint people. Is that something you go into fights with, that thought?
Sometimes, like, when I go to the cage, I have one job, just one thing I have to do. I have to win. That's it.
Yeah.
How that comes, what I have to do, it doesn't matter. Like, I just have to win. That's it. By any means, I have to win. That's all I have to do. When you start thinking of too much things and whatnot, it can put pressure on you, and psychologically, sometimes when you tell yourself things, it affects how you think without you realizing. It's like, for example, they say, overthinking things creates problems that were never there. When you have a fight, let's say you got a fight in 1 week's time. In your night, every time you go and sleep, you're just thinking, what if he knocks me out? What if he does this? What if he does this? That problem was never there. You're just making that problem in your head. Like, what if he knocked you out? Like, who made that? You know what I'm saying? That problem was never there. You just make it. That's why overthinking is like the worst thing.
And it grows in your head.
Yeah, and then boom, the more you think about it, then you get to the fight and you're thinking, what if he knocks me out? Yeah,
because there's too much media in this day and age. That's why people overthink things. Nowadays, I did a dissertation for my master's about the disadvantages of social media and how it can affect people's sports figures, careers.
Interesting.
Because you go into a fight and I don't know why they set up.
I'd love to read that myself.
I'll show you. Because you go into a fight or even a sports game or football, whatever, and I don't know why they do it, but they set up like press conferences pre-game press conferences, and they ask all these questions. Why are you asking him that? Like you just said, that's not even there.
Yeah.
The game hasn't even happened.
The problems, like a lot of problems. You know, I remember one time. My friend had a grappling match against one of the best grapplers in the UK. And then there was promos coming out of it, and then he'd get an interview and they'd be like, yeah, he's a really good black belt. He's really... And I messaged him. I sent him the thing, and I said, yo. I said, yeah, he's good. I said, but don't compliment this guy. Like, I know you're being honest and respect. Like, you can think it, but it's too much. Don't say, like, he's really good. Because, let's say, for example, you say, he's really strong on top. Okay. Then in the fight, he gets on top. And you feel he's strong.
It's in your head now.
In your head, you say to yourself, yeah, I was right, man. He really is strong.
Yeah. Overthinking things.
But really and truly, you could fight somebody else who's even stronger, but because you didn't make that problem, you just be like, okay, strong, whatever, I'm getting up.
Yeah,
You just deal with the problem. But now it's like, I knew this was going to be a problem. That's what you've basically done to yourself.
That makes sense.
Like, I knew this was going to be a problem. He's so strong. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you tell yourself, it's like, and then when you get there, you're like, it's like, oh, yeah, this confirmed what I was right. And it just makes it hard for you. And then you accept that position, or you accept what it is. That's why I told him, yo, don't speak like that about him. Don't give him too much respect.
I see one interview, where nowadays I think there's a lot of politics in any sport. they're trying to
100%.
mix the two. You see the World Cup and you see all these. I don't understand that first and foremost. But I seen one where you dodged a nice question where they asked you, you had a fight in UAE, and you had a fight with that South African brother, and they tried to get him like, yo, what do you think about what's happening with the Somalis in South Africa? And you were like,
Yeah.
he's a Muslim, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Okay, Carry on. What did you say? That was nice.
Yeah. I remember after the fight, before the fight, when posted, I'm getting guys messaging me like, yo, make sure you smash him up.
Yeah, make sure you bang him out.
Make sure you smash him up. You see what South Africans are doing in Somalia? I said, bro, whether that's happening or not, I still need to smash this guy.
Yeah, regardless.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's irrelevant. I remember, so I'm getting these messages, guys commenting things like, I'm thinking, bro,
What's going on
like,
here? Yeah.
I said, bro, imagine every Englishman I thought, someone messaged him and said, yo, you see what Somalis are doing recently in London?
Make sure you smash him up, yeah.
I have nothing to do. There's no correlation between what Somalis do on road
And your
with me.
fight.
With me, like, you know what I'm saying? Likewise, yeah, I know there's madness that happens in South Africa. Cool. What's that got to do with it? And then after the fight, I remember I was speaking to, after the fight, I went to my opponent's, to his locker room and that. We're just speaking, whatever, thank you for the fight, speak. And
Sorry to cut you off. What's that like? When you go into...
When you're the winner or the loser.
Well, regardless. What's that like? I never felt like that. I never had that.
For me, I always look at the end of the day, why am I here? It's just a job. It's nothing personal. Unless it's become personal, which very rarely. So, I just think it's just a job. After this, I've got no animosity. We could be cool now, in like 10 minutes. Like, when I've got a fight, throughout the day, I'm cool. If I see my opponent, shake his hand, his coach, yeah, whatever, I've got no problem. Little conversations is not a problem. When you go to the cage, we've got work to do, whatever.
Yeah.
And after, like I said, it's done. I remember I was speaking to my cousin about this, and he's a paramedic. And like people, what I just said about how I can be friends before and after, a lot of people don't understand this. Like, yo, you're gonna fight him. He's gonna try to beat. I spoke to my cousin about it, he's a paramedic, and I said, bro, your job is crazy emotionally. Like, you're dealing with dead bodies. You're telling people their son good. He said to me, he's like, it's like work.
Yeah, right job.
He said, bro, I've got to turn off emotionally. I could be imagine what he said. He said, I could be dealing with a kid who's dying, and now the kid's dead. I just see it in front of my eyes. As a paramedic, I have to switch off. I have to go fix my man's finger. You know what I'm saying? But it's just work. He has to just switch. And I'm the same. Like, cool, normal person. 10 minutes later, he's trying to kill me. I got to kill him.
10 minutes after that, normal person.
And then, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. Like, that's what it is for me. It's just work. But yeah, going back to your question.
You went into his locker room.
Yeah, I went to his locker room. At the end of the day, I got nothing against anyone.
Yeah, cool.
Like, if we weren't fighting, we could probably be friends. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've got common interests. At the end of the day, I know what it is. It's like he's trying to feed his family. I'm trying to feed my family. Like, that's what it is.
Have you ever fought a friend?
Professionally, no.
Unprofessionally, have you?
Amateur. But you know, there's levels of friendships. You know what I'm saying? There's a guy you might have bumped into once in a gym, like in a sparring session, and then there's a guy who's like your boy, you're with all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like Khabib and Islam, that level of boys is you wouldn't fight someone like that.
Okay.
But it might be someone you train at this gym once in a while, and this guy popped in once in a while.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say super close friends, but
respect for professionals.
Maybe there was one guy I remember, like, I trained with him once, and then like a couple months, like a year later or something, I ended up fighting him. And then, but I was saying to myself, oh my days, he was so strong. I was expecting him to be strong. Then I got to the fight, and it's like, I was like, what the hell? What happened to that strength that I see him?
The training, you probably trained more.
Maybe I trained.
Yeah. Spider said something last time.
What did he say?
When he was on it, he said,
oh yeah, you learn each other about you and your friend.
Yeah,
As time, you catch up with each other.
Yeah, he said that, and he also said, you can't stop training. If you stop, he still trains. That's what keeps him going.
Yeah, it could be that, or I remember I was at the time when we trained, I was 18, he was 28. When we fought, I was 20, he was 30. 18 to 20 is a big, like, as a man, like, you get a lot stronger. Of course. That's what it was. I don't know, 28 to 30, maybe not as much. But yeah, back to the question. I've gone to the locker room. I've got nothing against him. Like, I know at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. And without him, I ain't got no work today as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes two to fight. I need someone to fight.
Well, you said that. I wanted to ask about COVID. How was it for COVID? I know the gyms were closed, but you were still training. Oh, allegedly you were still training.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. What about oppositions? You couldn't find none, could you?
It wasn't even about opposition. I think fighters were making it happen, like training wise. Guys are just doing whatever they can to train, but it's about the shows they don't want to make. Like, you're gonna have to rent out arena. That's what, let's say 5-10 grand.
Yeah.
You're gonna get these fighters. You got all these expenses. You need referees. This, that. You need everybody who's willing to work at this time. And then on top of that, it looks like I'm gonna be a minus.
Yeah.
The crowds ain't allowed. All this kind of stuff.
Seats ain't filled. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember I fought in March, and then COVID started. Like a week later, I flew out.
Where did you go?
I went Thailand.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
Again, this is another time.
Okay.
And I was gonna fight the next month, April. After 8 days, UK said, "Yo, everyone come back." So I was in Thailand for 8 days.
Oh yeah.
I had to come back. I come back. That show got cancelled. After that, we were in limbo for like 8 weeks. We didn't know what was going on, and then
ended up being 2 years, bro.
Yeah. And then someone, obviously, there had to be a front runner. Someone started making someone made a show. They said, "Bun it," because they're thinking, "Yo, I need to make my fight. My fighters need to go ahead." Do you know what I'm saying? So he decided to make a show. He said, "We'll do it behind closed doors." Done it somewhere very private, like a gym, basically.
Yeah. Did it work out well then?
Yeah, we got our fights in it. I had a good fight, a tough fight. Everyone got their fights. There wasn't no expenses really, a bit of staff, and that's it. So that's when, and then a few shows started doing it. So I fought twice in COVID.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah.
It went well.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say then, Muhi? What would you say is the highlight? What's been the highlight of your career?
The highlight of my career. Good question. I don't know. Like sometimes there's moments and stuff. Like I remember when I fought in Abu Dhabi. Like any bad situation, I always try to find the good in it, innit?
Yeah,
it's like a thing I live by. When it rains, look for the rainbow.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Abu Dhabi after the fight. Obviously, I lost whatever, but my cousin was like to me, he's like, you know when he really hit me? He's like, when I was outside the arena, I'm like, yo, Muhi took us to Etihad Arena. I said this.
He's
like, Muhi took us to Etihad Arena.
I wrote this down. Like places you travel could be a wicked highlight. Yeah.
Like, you know, I remember someone told me a few years ago, he's like, you know, everyone's got a goal in the sport. Want to go to a UFC, be UFC champion. He's like, but what's more important than the end is the journey.
Yeah.
And you don't understand it. Like of course, for me, UFC, you got this goal, but tomorrow my life's gonna go on. Tomorrow I'm not gonna be in the UFC. The day after tomorrow, it's like you gotta make sure you enjoy these days. Because 10 years time, whether you hit your goal or not, you're gonna at least say, yeah, you know what? Look what I did.
Yeah, look what I did. Look what I went.
Look at my life. I enjoyed my life.
Yeah,
There's some people who are living 9 to 5 for 20 years. They're not enjoying a day of their life. They're going to work, coming home, sleeping. Saturday they're getting drunk. Sunday they got a hangover. Monday they go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, so.
And if you ask them their highlight, they probably know it. But everyone's got a different highlight. But places you travelled.
Like, for example, that was just one like moment that, and my cousin's like, bro, you know when we're outside, and I was like, man, this is Etihad Arena, and I was like, man, and then same thing, like these are just moments. Same thing what I was telling you about Ali. Like when I think about, I had no fights. He was a professional, and now we fought on the same card. It's like these kind of little things. Obviously, I've travelled. I've met people. I've got friends that like all over the world now. Like I could probably have there's probably about 50 countries where I can go somewhere today and there's a home. Like I could go. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. Like it's anytime. Like there's so many countries. If I had a reason to go, I would go just to go see like a friend that I met somewhere.
So,
like there's people who forget about sport. If I retired today, like I would probably still make an effort to travel to go see those kind of people. Highlight of my career, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, my last fight was a good platform. You know, that's when you see that like the fruits of your labor a little bit. I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for me to say. Yeah, and back to that thing about the Etihad Arena, I want to mention one thing. You know, I said about enjoying the journey. Yeah. Because sometimes you won't be able to. Like that Etihad Arena, there's so much things going on a fight. Like sometimes you don't even get time to realize like, yo, I'm fighting at Etihad Arena, and that's one thing that I didn't really deep until it was all done, and then I realized, oh yeah, I fought at Etihad Arena. You know what I'm saying?
What about so obviously going back to all the places you've traveled and everything, is there anywhere that stood out for you? You thought this is somewhere I can definitely come back to, regardless of fighting or not, or regardless of training or not?
I think in Chechnya and Dagestan, like the amount of people that I've met, like, you know, people always talk about they're hospitable, Arabs are hospitable, but there's some things that I've seen there with my own eyes, like hospitality people done to me. It's like, you think like, wow, like,
This goes beyond, yeah.
yeah, like, these are things that your parents don't even do for you.
Yeah,
like,
mad.
there's some crazy things, and you know, like, sometimes you gotta value these little things that someone did. Like, for him, it might have just been one small thing, like, yeah, he gave up the bed for you. But these kind of things you can't forget, man. And there's quite a few stories, like, that I've got, and it's like things that I'll never forget.
Yeah. What made you go in the first place to Chechnya and Dagestan?
I just wanted to go there to train. I met some guys. I already knew about the place and then notoriety.
Of fighters.
Yeah, and whatnot. But it was a thing, it's like, at the time, it's like what people think when they ask me about it. They think it's like in another planet or something. They don't know even, where is this place? What is this place?
Yeah. I think it's in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah,
I still think
it's like, people ask me, how do you go there? I said, bro, jump on a flight and you go, bro. People think you jump in some spaceship or something.
Yeah.
Like, they say, how'd you go? I said, I took 2 flights, bro. Like, people
Literally.
think, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, what was your question?
What made you go there?
Oh, yeah. So I knew about them, about the place. I wanted to go there. And then I met some guys in Thailand, because Thailand's like a place where a lot of guys from all over the place. And I met a couple guys there. And then I was like, yeah, you know. And that's one thing I've always do. I always try to network with people, innit?
Yeah, it's important.
And yeah, so I just asked some guys. They're like, yeah, come through, this and that. Then I went there. And then that's when I started to see like the mad hospitality. That's when I started meeting people. Like, I might have met them 1-2 days. And it's like, whoa, like this guy done so much for me. And
Mashallah.
yeah, and there's a lot of those stories.
Okay. So I'll ask you a little bit about how I got to know you and how I got to see you on the platform, which a lot of my friends are doing from Birmingham at the moment, and that's going away, doing deployment and doing charity to places like Lebanon, Syria.
I ain't been Syria, yeah. I ain't been, bro. I ain't been there, bro.
Lebanon, Syria, all these places. But he hasn't gone Syria.
Yeah, just I've been Lebanon. Yeah, but yeah, go on.
So what made you get into that side of things? Especially now that you need to focus on fighting and that, do you just take a break and you just thought, you know what, out of your comfort and heart?
It's always been something that, like, I've seen bits and bobs, you know, you see the odd advert here and there, and I always thought it was something way back in the back of my head, you know, yeah, it'd be nice to go out there, go to Africa, go wherever. And then I remember 2 years ago, so 2020 Ramadan, it was April. I remember it very clearly that day. I was at a wedding. I was at someone's nikah, and then my good friend, my brother Adam Kiani, he also came.
Shout out Adam Kiani.
Shout out Adam. Give him a long one.
Yeah, give him a long.
Yeah, he deserves a long one. But yeah, Adam was also there, and then we were speaking, just catching up because we hadn't seen each other in a while. Close, but obviously he's from Birmingham, I'm from London. And then he goes to me, he's like, you're just catching up, and he's like, yeah, what you up to? He's like, yeah, I'm going. It was a Monday, the nikah. Saturday was my professional debut, so I wasn't even eating properly at this nikah. And then like 2-3 days later was Ramadan. So he said, like the 10th day of Ramadan, I'm going to Lebanon. So it's in like 10-15 days or something. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Lebanon, do some charity. And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, you want to come? It was just straight up like as spontaneous as that. Imagine I've just gone to this nikah, just for nikah, and then I see my man, and he's like, you want to come? I was like, yeah, why not? It's going to be Ramadan, why not? My fight is done on Saturday. Next week, go. He's like, yeah, safe, bam. We've done it. Ramadan, alhamdulillah, we went. Then, on the way back, on the airport, I remember, we're in the airport, we're walking back, coming home. And he's like, you want to come back at the end of the month? You want to come again? I'm like, yeah, safe.
Oh, you went twice in one month?
Yeah, twice in one Ramadan. And
wow.
yeah,
wow.
and Yeah, it was just beautiful.
People don't know. People don't know that like some things in life are the best when they're spontaneous.
Spontaneous,
Yeah.
yeah.
People think, oh, this guy, he must have planned this for ages.
Yeah, and even not only about the best things are spontaneous. Sometimes you just have to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
Something like if I said no to Adam that day, I probably would have never gone after that. I've been on about 2 Ramadan, then the next year Ramadan, then this year 3 times. So yeah, I've been 6 times. Like, but from that one, if I said to Adam like, oh, I don't know, and I'll be honest with you, for about a few minutes I was thinking, oh, maybe. He's like, yeah, come for it. I was like, alright, safe. If I said no that time, I don't think I would have gone. It just been hassle me doing it by myself.
Yeah.
You have to make that first step. But this was like, it was on the plate. Like, yo, you wanna come? He's telling me about it.
Nah, mashallah,
Cool.
big up Adam Kiani for that.
Yeah.
You said something to me the other day, and obviously, remember I told you I'd like to touch upon this, where you said, first and foremost, it's charity, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're doing charity. So can you explain how it works? Do you get people to fund you? People send money to me, and then I go and do it on your behalf?
Okay, so for example, we just come back from Lebanon like about a month ago. We were there for a week. We fundraised. Everyone fundraised, and then 100% donation policy. But that's a whole nother conversation. Some people, anyways, yeah. So we've obviously raised money, whatever. If I raise 10 grand now, if I give you 10 grand now, do you think you can go to Somalia right now and spend 10 grand worth of food, boxes, this? There's a lot of logistics, obviously.
Okay.
This is where the behind the scenes stuff happens. I'm not here with 10 grand going to the shop. Yeah, can you give me 500 kilos of rice, 500 this, then I'm boxing it up, then I'm transporting it. It's not as easy as that.
You have to give it to someone, don't you?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, Adam, I remember before this thingy, he was saying any charity money we're leaving on Saturday or Sunday, it's got to be in the account by Thursday, which is straight up honesty. Some guys you're just going, he's saying like, if I've got money Thursday, do you think I'm going to flip in the day before? I'm going to go and just buy everything, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he sent it over, he's got receipts, this and that, but every penny was accounted for, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that in that sense, fundraising. And then you get other guys who say to me, yo, Sadaqa Jariyah, do this something for my mom. Guys send me personally. I say, yo, if you want anything specific, one guy's like, yo, help an orphan family for 6 months. Yes, safe, send me that. I'll deal with that.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you raise the money, obviously food packs, Sadaqa money, other stuff. Then you get guys, for example, someone be like, yo, I got 1 grand zakat. Do you want that? I was like, go on. I know that's a bigger amount. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not like Sadaqa. You give me £10, I give it anyway. I gotta give that to specific people. Yeah, safe. Give me that. That I know. That's in my pocket. I don't care what's going on. I'ma be accountable for it. Yeah, like I don't care what Adam Kiani says. What nobody says. If I've got to make sure. You know what I'm saying? So, so you fundraise and then you get money from other places. You do other things and that. At the end of the day, if you're flying all the way across the world, you want to help as many people as you can.
Shucks.
Like I always say, there's no loyalty. I don't have no loyalty to a charity. I've got loyalty to charity. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where allegiance is.
That's big, man. One second. That's big, man. People hate this, by the way. People hate this, but I'll keep doing more. That's big still. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Really and truly, what is it all? It's just a few different letters. UT, this trust. Bro, we're going to do the same thing.
I wanted to ask, what happens if you want to go in your heart? Obviously, your heart is pure and you want to go 100%. But unfortunately, you can't fundraise enough. You can't fundraise anything furthermore.
Speak to Adam.
Right?
But Adam, honestly, Adam said, look, Adam made sure that this time was on a 100% donation policy. He said, look, your expenses are X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And fundraise, and these are expenses. You pay for your expenses. No one's in a minus. No charity's in minus. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mashallah,
so if you raise, there's some guys who raise 10 grand. There's some guys who raise £500.
Yeah.
I know guys who've raised 30, 40, 70 grand in 1 month. You know what I'm saying? There's some guys can do that. Some guys have networks. And I will say one thing is the Asians. When it comes to Sadaqah, the Asians go hard, bro. Honestly. Like, one guy will tell this guy, and boom, they're just raising loads of money. Some people can't, like, some people use social media. If I didn't have social media, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a guy who likes to ask, so I probably couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So some guys, everyone's got different capabilities of what they can
what can they can do?
Yeah, what they can do.
So now that you went 6 times,
Yeah.
mashallah, Allah barak to you, bro. May Allah reward you for every single time and more. There must have been people that you've seen there that you're obviously quite fond with. I know the story of obviously a little brother called Zayed. Zayad. Tell me his story, bro. Mashallah, I've seen the videos, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah, there's, just off your question, there's like, yeah, you go there, there'll always be something or multiple things that touch you. You know what I'm saying? Like if I put you in a room with 100 people to network, there's gonna be 2-3 you're gonna bond with better than others. It's just naturally like that. And sometimes you feel bad, but how I always said it, it's like, for example, sometimes you want to help one kid, you want to just like they always say, like, if you're gonna give something to a kid or a family, you do it on a way that you ain't gonna cause no fitna. Because there's 100 people hungry and you give one guy food, obviously it's not ideal. But it happens. Like you see a guy, you're giving him a food box, and he's walking with his mum who's got one leg. You just have some nahris, you have some empathy. You want to give something. You speak to someone who can get it done, whatever. Like there'll always be something that touches you. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it will always be like that. As sad as it is, you might feel like, sometimes you feel bad, like I'm playing with this kid. Yeah. And there's 7 kids over there that you're not playing with. But it's just, and the same thing with the money thing. How I've always just told myself to kind of not let it get to me, but like, if I give this kid money and I don't give these 10, the only way that I can sleep at night is I say to myself, it was this person's risk. You know what I'm saying? This money was written for this person, it wasn't written for the other person. That's it. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying?
And Ziyad, go back to Ziyad and tell me about him, please, bro.
Ziyad, okay.
I'm interested in him, man.
Ziyad.
May Allah give him everything in life as well.
May Allah give him everything. Like, beautiful child, man.
MashaAllah.
So he's about 7, 8 years old. So where he lives, just for some context, basically we went to Lebanon and we'd go to places where Syrian refugees live. Obviously it's bordering Syria and that. So there's a place on the coast, not too far, called Arsal. This is a place that's got about maybe 90,000 Syrian refugees, maybe more. But that's only, there's about 3 million Syrians.
Living in a camp?
Yeah, living in camps. But it's like a thing where like, you get pockets. So here you have, like let's say for example, Coventry Road, yeah? Let's say there's that Islamic bookshop. There'll be like 50 tents there, for example, or 100 tents, 200 tents. Then you drive down the road a little bit, maybe where the Dixie is, Love Chai. There'll be another 30. You go down there, 50. So it's just pockets and pockets and pockets. So it's like little camps in a big area. Yeah. So Ziyad's...
You know your way around Coventry Road, man. Little bit too much, man. Love Chai, everything.
Don't worry, man. Soon I'm going to start going lady pool, bro. I need to go Bubble Rose, man.
Yeah, shout out Bubble Rose. People hate this. Carry on.
Bubble Rose. Lady Pool Road, man. But yeah, so these little camps. So Ziyad, we went to do like a distribution to his camp. The thing about his camp is it's quite small. And you know the small camps, you have more like, it's more close.
You
because
can speak to people
there's
more.
not 200 families, just like 50. So Ziyad's camp, there's 61 families. But the problem with this is there's no men there because they're all widows. It's only widows and orphans. Bar a few special cases that got married again or whatever. But about 60 orphans and widows families. So sometimes, and these are the little things that hit you. You'll just be distributing food and you'll be thinking like, yo, there's not a single man. Like these kids, none of these kids have dads. Like, you know, there's loads of kids that don't have, but when you're deep and you're seeing like, there's so many in one place. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one little camp. So basically one time, Ziyad, the first time we went to his camp, so we're distributing, and then this when it hit me, kind of, I caught my eye. Yeah. So we're just playing with the kids and whatnot, and then we started distributing sweets. That's the highlight. The highlight of distribution is when you give sweets, because that brings smiles on kids' faces. Yeah. When you're giving food to families, you're not you're just this is just necessity. Like, you're doing what they're owed. Yeah. But sweets, you're doing something more for a child. A child, for him, is like, I'm happy that you're giving me sweets. The parents getting food, them getting food is just like, it should be normal for them, you know what I'm saying? It's like you buy someone a gift. He did more for me than what was needed. That's what it is with the kids. So we're giving the kids the sweets and that. And one thing you got to remember, these kids and that, the next time they're going to get sweets, Allah knows, innit? When it's going to be, they don't know like how like when was the last time they got sweets? So they try to get as much sweets as they can.
Yeah.
So you're giving out packets of sweets to kids and that, and kids are hustling, like just being normal kids. Put one in the backside, come around the corner, give me one more. I got one. So Ziad, I remember very clearly. He asked me for a pack of sweets. I gave him a pack of sweets. It's a funny story, but in the end, it's a bit sad when I realised what the truth in it. And then he's gone around, he's just gone like 10 meters away.
Yeah.
Then he's come back, the sweets ain't in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, I'll give him one." I said, "I gave you one." And then he said like, "Oh, I got 4 brothers," or he said something like that. No, first he said, "I got 2 brothers," so I gave him 2. He come back, he said, "I got 4 brothers." So I tried to give him like, I said, "Nah, you're just tricking me," kind of thing, innit?
Yeah.
And then what I later learned was that I think he's got like a few stepbrothers. And one thing about these kids, they're always thinking about their brothers.
That's good, man.
Yeah, like some kid will get sweets. Maybe his sister's at madrasa. He'll like, "Please, my sister's at madrasa." Blah, blah. All right, give a pack of sweets for them. Some guys' kids are lying, obviously, it's normal. But they're always looking out for the thingy. And then I was just playing with him there. And this is just the first meeting. Imagine I've just met, and I'm playing with this kid a lot, whatnot. And then when I've left this place, I'm thinking, oh, good kid, beautiful kid. Probably never going to see him again. It's just one of them things, life. Yeah. Then, obviously, I told you, Adam put me on. He said, "Yo, you want to come again?"
Same time in the month.
In Ramadan.
Yeah.
And then, but obviously, we don't know where we're going, which camp specifically. And then the day I remember they saying, yeah, we're going to go to that camp with the orphans and everything. I was like, yeah. And I'm going to go see that kid again. Because honestly, those 2 weeks, it was just hitting me in my heart like something, I don't know, bro. Yeah. Like, I would done something to me, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what it's like to have a kid or what, bro. But, and then next time I've come there, and they've got like a little gate in this thingy. So we've come, and when we've landed, there's like, just bare kids just swarmed us, yeah, just happy to see us. And in my head, obviously, I want to see a specific kid again, innit?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking around, whatever. I said, "Don't worry, I'll see him," or whatever it is. And then one time, I turned around, and he's just there, just looking up at me, like, it's like I never left kind of thing, innit? Yeah. And he just looked at me, and he's like, because the first time when I was playing with him, what I was doing, like, he was asking me, throw him in the sky. You know, these are things that normal kids have with their dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had it with my dad. My dad used to play wrestling with me. He's like, throw me in the sky again. It's like we never left. It's like we're just carrying on where we left off kind of thing. And then from there, and then I remember his mom was saying, like, his mom said some mad things that, like, I was shocked. Like, I didn't think, wallahi, before that time, I did not think you could impact a child so much with something so little. And that's when I started to always think about the hadith for the Prophet ﷺ when he said, like, smiling is sadaqah. Because you don't know, like, you know, when you go to these people, think about these people, what they've been through. And then for them to have, like, in their times when they get in war zones, they're probably thinking, anyone that comes into the house is probably trying to raid their house. So for them to see people come to their house, be welcoming, be friendly with them, it might be something so big. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I seen Ziad, and then I remember his mom was telling me some things, and I was just shocked in it, and yeah, just and then I learned about his story a bit as well, and it's a very sad story. Like, he was, I think when he, like, he's an orphan, obviously no father. It's in Islam, for those who don't know, if you don't have a father, you're classified as an orphan, even if your mom's alive. He was born an orphan, so his dad died while he was in his mom's stomach. His dad was killed, so in a war and whatnot. And then they moved to Lebanon. It was in the heart of the war, maybe about 2011, 12. But they didn't move. Imagine this, his mom said to me, we went there for like, we planned to go there for a week or two until things died down. Yeah. And it's been like 10 years or something. And imagine that if I told you, like, yo, go London, check up, and you never come back to Birmingham. It's like you've left everything, all your people. It's mad. And the sad thing is, like, that's just one person, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure if I went really deep into the story, it could have been even worse.
You could have a million people
Yeah,
saying the
they're
same
all,
thing,
they literally, that's what it is. Sometimes we'll speak to families about the case. Like sometimes what we've done, half the group will go speak to this family, half group will speak to this family. So now you've got two families you're speaking to.
And you come back and it's probably all the same.
Not even that, like you're there and you're just thinking, this lady's telling you how her husband was killed. They walked to Lebanon for 4 days. They don't eat this and that. And you're just thinking like, this sounds like the biggest problem in the whole world. You come out, you go speak to the other group, you're like, boy,
Yeah,
that's 10 times worse than this one.
Wow.
And you just think to yourself, that's two. There's 3 million people. And not just these people, just poor people all around the world. Like how many people? It's like everyone's got another story. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got a story. Like 1 million refugees means 1 million stories.
Yeah.
1 million people that don't have water means 1 million people, 1 million humans like me and you are suffering. They ain't got water in the morning. Like, do you know how, bro, when the water finishes, when the water stops working or something, do you know how much problems that causes? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. It's not just numbers on the screen. 57 people are not in education. That means 57% of kids are staying at home. They ain't going to school, bro. Like, that's like our little... It's not just a stat, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it comes down to. Like,
I feel like people have become dehumanized by all the stats that they see and all the adverts and everything.
I say that as well. But
Instagram and everything, all these things.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? There's another thing that I learned from going to these deployments, that seeing is believing. Like, sometimes I see, you know, them YouTube ads, help this kid and help this kid's dying. Sometimes I skip it because I don't want to see it no more. Like, it's hitting me too much. And I know sometimes I think to myself, nah. I've heard families that are suffering like this. If I hate this, if I would listen to this whole video, I ain't gonna sleep, bro. Let me turn this off. But sometimes you think to yourself, oh, skip. But when you've seen things,
you can't skip it anyway. And you see it now, you can't skip it.
like you just, like sometimes there's certain cases that I relate to. Like sometimes I'll see charity adverts about the places that I've been to, like, or Syrian refugees in Lebanon. I've seen that like deep, bro. I can't. If I watch the whole video, I'm gonna think about it, and it's really gonna hit me. So better to skip it.
Yeah.
I've got enough, like, I don't know, PTSD, but yeah, like, I got enough people. Bro, wallahi, sometimes you think about some old lady that told you a story, you just think about her, like, what's she going through?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you planning on going back?
Yeah, inshallah.
Of course, probably 6 times in one.
Yeah. You can't stop. Once you go once, you don't wanna. Me personally, and most guys, if you go once, you always wanna go again.
I'll come with you. I'll
inshallah,
speak
in Ramadan.
I speak to Butch last time.
Okay.
He sent me a message, said come down. I'm planning to go inshallah. Ramadan, yeah?
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah, man, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
So obviously, that's all the... But how did that affect your career then when you came back? You weren't gone for long, were you?
No, I tried to always time it... when
you got no fight?
When I've got no fight. Although, not this time. The time before... At the beginning of the year, I did one at a very dangerous time. Like, it was very close to a fight. Maybe, I think, 3 weeks or something. Like, I come back from Lebanon and there was like 2.5 weeks left to my fight.
And did you fought, obviously?
Yeah, I fought and I won, alhamdulillah. But
if you lost, you would have said...
Nah, I would have never. And I had this conversation with myself as well. And I said to myself... I said, all right, if I lose this fight, what's going to happen? It's not the end of the world. Like, I lost the fight. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to think, man. Because I know a lot of people that... Bro,
MMA and boxing is a little bit different. MMA, there's guys at the top who've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 losses. In boxing, you know, that don't happen. Like 1, 2 losses is... And it's not even about thinking about losing. It's just... I don't know. You know, when I go there, like, sometimes things just hit me. It's like, nah, I just want to go back. Sometimes it's like, you know, some people, they've got like a place in the world. Like, some of our elders, they say, you know, UK is stressing me out. I'm going back home. Yeah. I'm going Somalia. I'm going Kenya. I'm going Africa. I'm going here. So I'm going Pakistan. I'm going back home. Like, Lebanon's like my spot. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just want to, let me just go there, man. This is all dunya and that. Like, okay, I'm going to fight today. I'm going to win, lose tomorrow.
Same again. Same fault.
Yeah. But there it's like, you feel like you're
ease.
doing something. Yeah.
The purpose for what you're doing.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about on your last podcast with Spider,
Mm.
you asked him a question about celebrating our success. You said, do you think we celebrate our success enough? And I think the reason, you know what he's saying?
Move on.
He said, yeah, you fight and then tomorrow you got the buzz out and then you move on. But you know what I think that is? I wish, like when I was watching it, I was thinking, I wish I could answer this. I was thinking, but that, you know what that is? That's just dunya.
Pleasing people.
No, dunya is like, you succeed, but it's never enough.
Yeah, that's dunya. That's
You're
true.
always chasing something. You can make £1 million tomorrow. Tomorrow you're trying to make another million.
Yeah.
Like £1 billion. If I give you £1 billion, you're not going to spend that in your lifetime. But I bet you, even if I give you $1 billion, you're going to be trying to make another $1 billion. For what?
Muhidin, there's a documentary I watched recently, about a Arsenal footballer, and I forgot his name. And if you know his name, please comment down below. Some BBC iPlayer anyway, and he's talking about this goes back to what you said about the dunya and how it's so obsessive and
Yeah, you're just going to chase.
yeah. And he used to be a gambler, like a proper hardcore betting man. Every week, hundreds of thousands, and people didn't know this. He just released a documentary, and he said when he won, obviously he lost, but when he won, the first thing on his mind would be like, oh, I should have put more on. Even though he won hundreds of thousands, I should have put more on. So that's just goes back to
rat race, innit? Like, yeah, it's just like I was saying to you. Like, if I lost or thinking, if I won the fight, cool. After a couple of days, the buzz is gone, and you know what I'm saying? It's never gonna end. Like, I could have 20 wins. You're chasing the 21st win. You're just constantly chasing the win. Whereas that, you feel like you done something. You know, something that's gonna benefit you after and whatnot. So
Let me ask you a question. After back what you just said, might be a bit political. You might not like me, but like, so for example, this dunya and the fact that when you win, you just want to keep chasing it, and when you lose, you probably overthink it, and it's just a dunya. Regardless, you get these thoughts in your head. Why do you do what you do then? Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's like, really and truly, you ask anyone why they do it. It's like you're just chasing something. It's like I said to you, if you give me £1 billion tomorrow, well, just the average price, you give someone £1 billion today, and I've asked people this. I said to people, so I've asked a couple guys this. I said, look, if I gave you 100 million today, do you think you would spend that in your lifetime? Most, they'll say no, innit? Like, it's a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
I said, cool. But I bet you're still going to try to open up like 50 types of business and that. Why? Trying to make another 100 million. For what? I understand some people think about generational, but really and truly, why?
You're basically set.
Yeah. Forget set. Like, I remember there was a thing I read about Bill Gates. If he spent $1 million a day, it would take him like 200 something years to go broke. If I had that kind of money, I ain't. You think I'm waking up trying to, like, maybe you do things, for enjoyment, but to work hard on a business, like, for what?
Yeah, but what if
no, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying
I know,
this is
no,
what
no,
dunya
no.
is.
No, it makes sense.
You chase the money. Like, anything materialistic, you could have 1, 2, 1 million of them. Bro, there's guys who have 30 cars. They're buying the 31st car. They haven't even driven all the 30 cars. For what? You can never win. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a hadith about this. If son of Adam was given like a value of gold, he wouldn't be something along the line. He wouldn't be content until he had reached his throat or something. Like,
yeah. Filled his throat.
Yeah. It's just you're just chasing. But back to your question. In sport, my goal always hit the highest level. Yeah, like UFC champion. That's the MMA athlete.
Inshallah, bro. I was gonna ask you what your goal is, but inshallah you get to the UFC, man. I'd love that, bro. That'd be sick. Yeah. But even there, sorry, man, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, no.
But even, okay, this is what I've realized with sports. I'm gonna use Ronaldo as an example. Ronaldo now, best player in the world for me. He's reached his goal, but it's about staying there. That's the hard part.
Definitely. And yeah, if we're talking like that kind of goal, cool. But if we're talking materialistically, that's when I was saying about the whole you'll never be happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Ronaldo, that's something different that you can keep chasing. But in terms of materialistic goal, as I said, like, yeah, you're always gonna chase, innit? So my thing was that UFC goal. But when you get that, who knows? But then even I know, like, if I hit that, you're thinking about, all right, what's the next record I can break?
Yeah.
I want to break the most title defenses. I want to do this. It's like, there's always something more to chase. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these are things that are not materialistic in that sense. Do you know what I'm saying? And even people who have been champions, they've said stuff like, when they've lost, they're like, it was a sense of relief.
Really?
like Kamaru Usman recently, he lost, and he was saying, before that fight, people were talking about like you're so close to beating this record, X, Y, and Z. But if you imagine, like you're like 5 goals away from hitting the Premier League all-time goals, and there's like 2 games left or something. You've got a lot of pressure on your back. You're trying have to score a hat-trick. And he said, but when you lost, it's like, it's over. It's like, imagine that season was always like, all right, we'll start again next year.
Yeah. There's so much pressure on me at the end of the season.
So that's obviously looking from the outside. I think to myself, I'd rather have that pressure than not have it. I'd rather be a champion chasing that than not. But obviously with goals, as time goes on, as you get older, like you start to see things differently. You start thinking differently. When you grow, like today, I might feel like I'm mature, but I know in like 5 years' time, I'm gonna look back at myself today and I'll be like, when you're 23, you really weren't that mature kind of thing. And that's how I look at myself now, innit? So I think sometimes it goes beyond materialistic goals. Like, what can you do when you're there? I remember there's a UFC fight. He said, I fight in the UFC to grow my platform to sell my merch. That's what he said. Yeah. Like, fighting, he makes extra, he probably makes good money. But
his main goal is the
That's
merch.
how he's making the big money. You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
Another guy was saying, he said, UFC, he said, this ain't done nothing for my life. He said, if anything, my life's probably more miserable since I've been doing this.
I've seen that one.
But it's like, it gives me a platform. I can help people who've been through my problems. He was a drug addict before. He said, I can help drug addicts. That's his why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes it's about things like that. Like, if I get there, I know once you're at that level, you can do a lot of good, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what I think about more these days, I'll be honest with you. I don't think...
Materials.
Like, it's not about having 10 cars and a £5 million house. That, to be honest, that never was it for me, kind of thing. Like, I've lived a simple life. Family were never rich. We've lived bare minimum. Like, my parents are not too materialistic. As long as my parents are happy, I'm happy. How I always said is like, I've been happy. I'm 23. I've been happy 23 years. If I have $1 million, alhamdulillah. If I have £1 million and I just up this lifestyle bit, it's not any different. If I don't move anywhere from where I'm at today, I'm still happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, nothing's changed. Like, we've always been happy, alhamdulillah. So, like, it was never too much about materialistic. Now, as I've grown older, especially the charity deployments, that made my mind think like,
oh, this is nothing.
Yeah, honestly, like, and I think, and that kind of changed my why, you know, as I've grown. I remember, I'm referencing a lot of things, but a couple months ago, I was in America, yeah. One of my friends was fighting in the UFC, and I remember we were in a car, me, him, and another guy, both in the UFC. We're in a car, driving, and then the brother's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try and win this fight, inshallah." He's like, "I wanna get the 50,000 bonus after this fight." And then we're like, "Yeah." And then my other friend said to him, he said, "Yeah," because this guy's like, "I have to win this fight." He's like, "Yeah, bro. Even if we don't win this fight, so what? We lost the fight." Like, if you look at in the grand scale, what did you do? You lost the fight.
Yeah.
What is that? You lost the fight. Come on, man. You can go down the street now. Obviously, there's a bit more on the line, obviously money. You lost the fight. He said, "Bro, even if we don't win, it's like we lost the fight. Really, like, how many people actually have some problems, real problems going on? Like, how many people are actually hungry?" And then he was like, "Yeah, you're right, man." He said, "How can I complain?" He's like, "I'm in the UFC. He's like, I'm getting paid to fight."
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Yeah, so," you know what I'm saying? That's when, and I never forget that conversation, just us three, and I was thinking, man, really, losing a fight is a very small problem.
It is.
Millions and millions, if not billions of people would wish that was their biggest problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So, yeah, that's kind of...
That's your why then, basically, yeah. Nah.
Yeah, just try to do good with it, you know what I'm saying? It's not for me in that sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, as time goes on, you realise that you can do a lot more. And I've noticed as well, like, if I buy a car now today, yeah, the car that, let's say I buy the best car in the world.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. If I buy it for myself, yeah, I'll be happy. If I buy it for my good friend or my brother, you'll be a lot happier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
not
true,
me trying to
true,
be all
no, wallahi, you're
hippie
right.
and that. Trust me. Like, when you get someone a gift and they're like, "Oh, thank you," what I'm
The
saying?
giving is way better than
It genuinely is.
Yeah.
Obviously, but to be able to give, you got to be in a certain position. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine you're not and you still give.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like now imagine you can buy the best cars in the world. You're gonna drive it after day one, you're gonna do 1-2 snaps, you get a couple likes and that's it, it's gone. Tomorrow everyone's yeah, he's got a Lambo, yeah. I don't want to see your car no more, bro. Just click. They don't even watch the story, they go next.
Yeah, they've seen it, bro.
But tomorrow, Abu Bakar the Lambo, inshallah, one day. It's like I know, like I'm gonna go sleep at 9, bro. I did something for me. I made him happy, and like that's why doing things for other people will always make you more happy.
I want to ask you about. So I was going to ask you about the UFC anyway. You just threw it in.
Yeah.
What's the story with the UFC? And obviously you've been around people that are in the UFC. What's the route to get to the UFC?
With the UFC, it's about like building your record, building a professional record. It's obviously very different to boxing. Boxing, there's so many sanctioning bodies and whatnot, whereas MMA, it's not really about a sanctioning body. You're trying to go to UFC, this is like an organization in itself. You just got to build your record, build your name.
And did they call you?
Yeah, they'll just get in contact with your manager or your team, whatever. They'll get in contact. Yeah, offered. Sometimes short notice. That happens a lot. Someone pulled out. For example, we're doing a show in London. All right, we need someone ideally from
the area,
from UK because visas. Who's local here? Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, go on, let's. Oh. And then boom, you're in. That's why a lot of people take short notice. Like, short notice fights are not ideal, but that's sometimes a good way to get in.
And then once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in for X amount of fights. They might have a 5-fight contract or 3-fight contract, usually the standard. But that 3-fight, you have 2 bad fights and they feel like you're not up to par. You can get your papers and you're gone. And it's like from making whatever you're making, you're back to the regional circuit or maybe find some other.
Or you can get injured.
Yeah,
short notice, you're fighting someone that's been in the game.
Yeah, but yeah, like they'll give you a contract for X amount of fights or time, but that contract they can terminate that whenever.
But then you still fight. You're still a fighter. You can go
you're
back
still a fighter. Yeah, it's like you're playing for Man U, safe, gone. Now you're in the championship. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're done. You thought, I'm playing Real Madrid starting 11. Oh.
Back down to championship.
Now you're playing for Everton.
I'll take that. I'll still take that. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so
but sometimes these guys go to Everton, they get a decent opportunity also, and sometimes they go in
down.
Coca-Cola League 7, bro, like down. And
they got to talk about the day they played in the UFC.
Yeah,
that's all they know.
Tell the grandkids and that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Still a good story, man. Muhidin, right now, obviously, I think it's amazing what you're doing, mashallah. When I spoke to you, I even mentioned the deployment because for some people, that's bigger than your career. And you mentioned it yourself. That's the why. So that's why I touched on that as well. Do you see a lot of kids in your neighborhood, and do you see a lot of kids that you feel to motivate? And if so, what do you tell them?
Yeah, a lot of people always, when people ask me this kind of motivate, a lot of the time they ask me in a way that I like to answer a bit different. They say to me, and I get a lot of messages like this as well. They say, I'm a young guy. I want to fight. I want to train. Like, what advice would you give me? It's nice that guys are asking me for advice and that, but it's like sometimes I want to give advice to more important things in life. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not only that. Like, I say to them the same advice I give to everyone in any aspect of life. All right, some kid asks me he wants to be a MMA fighter. What advice do you give him? You ask me. You told me you want to be a doctor in 15 years. What advice do I give you? I'm going to give you the same advice. Like, work hard. Make dua. Do everything you can. You put your time into it. And if it's meant for you, it's going to be for you. Do you know what I'm saying? If it's not, it's as simple as that. That's one thing that, another thing, as I've got older, I've understood that, like, that's why I even with my career, I don't think too much of it, because if I win or lose, it's what was meant to be. There's no other way. You know what I'm saying? People say if that. There was no if. Life was written one way and it was this way. You know what I'm saying? So same thing I always tell everyone: do what you can, do the best. At the end of the day, you're gonna tie your camel. You're gonna do the means. You're gonna study hard, train hard. Give you everything. Pray, make dua, whatever. And if it happens, it happens. If not, it's not. But at least at the end of that, you know, if it doesn't happen, there was nothing more you could have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's losing or failing in life is inevitable, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But what's not okay is not giving your all.
Yeah.
Like, if you have, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a football team versus another football team and they get smacked and they were meant to get smacked, cool.
Yeah.
But if you're getting smacked 20-0,
You see them giving up.
you know that second team didn't give their all because you shouldn't be getting smacked. You know what I'm saying? That's worse than...
The regret is always
the regret, honestly. Sometimes you might lose to someone, you might lose or fail in something that you shouldn't have failed in. And it's like, okay, maybe he was better than maybe. That's okay if someone's better than you, because you can't, like, if me and you are fighters, I can't control if you're better than me. You're training somewhere else, I need to make sure I can be the best I can be, because I can't control what you do.
I control what you do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If I'm training 7 hours a day and till I physically can't, 7 hours a day, for example, there's nothing to stop Abubakar in Vegas. Maybe he's training 8 hours. I can't control that.
Yeah.
What I can control is me being the best version of myself. So you always do what you can, do the most you can, and make sure at the end of it you can say, like, I didn't leave no stone unturned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, so like motivating people, I always just tell them, like, work hard. When you want to do something, put your mind to it. Like, I remember my mom used to always tell me this, like, she said, you can be anything you want. You know what I'm saying? And as I got older, I start to understand it more. And I look at people, I said, that guy, why should he be a better fighter than me? I got 2 arms, he's got 2 legs, he's got 2 arms, 2 legs, he's throwing punches, he's throwing kicks. Why should he do it better than me?
Yeah.
What's stopping me from doing it? Do you know what I'm saying? What's stopping me from doing it, like, better than him? I can do it. Like, there's nothing stopping me. Do you know what I'm saying? We're the same. He breathes like me, he gets tired like me. He goes to sleep and he bleeds like me. There's no difference with humans. And that's why, like, you know, just always strive to the top, man. In whatever you do, try to be the best you can, because your competition is only the same as you. The competition is human. It's not a guy like, I'm fighting a guy with one guy who has 3 arms. Yeah, 3 arms, 2 heads. You know, it's not like that. Everyone's the same as you. It's just about what kind of...
Everyone's in the same profession as well. It's not like he's doing something different.
Yeah.
Well, I want to touch on, because it's right now it's a soup, like, there's loads of Somalis that are into MMA and kickboxing and Muay Thai and everything. I know from growing up, and you know as well, that we was always the best that's ever had, bro. Listen, honestly, bro, you got some guys trying to throw punches at us and we just drop them. So it's a good thing that now they've finally found their niche. What do you think about all the Somalis that are getting into it as well, man?
I think I was thinking about it a few weeks ago. I was like, man, I was speaking to Cyber about it, and
shout out Cyber, man.
Yeah, shout out Cyber, man.
Should I do it for him, man?
You gotta give it, man. Yeah, I was speaking to him, and have you watched his documentary?
I watched it.
Yeah, Sabri's documentary. If anyone ain't watched it, go watch it.
There's another brother in there as well.
Yeah, Imran.
Oh, is that his name? Yeah. Okay.
In that documentary, like, and this is the same thing what I was saying about enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, if you get too lost and what you're chasing, you forget what happened along the way. He was saying about the fight, and he was saying how that day there was 3 Somalis fighting on one event.
Yeah. Massive,
which is, if you said that 10 years ago,
massive. That's massive.
Crazy, you know what I mean? And he was saying, he's like, the only time I really got to enjoy, like, to realize how mad that was when the fight finished, I think, or when he got his hand raised. And then I was deep and I was thinking, you know what, that was actually a crazy day, you know? And this is one of the reasons that I'm not a guy who films things on a go place. I want to live in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can watch it back, it's not the same. And I was watching that and I was thinking, it took me back there, and I was like, man, I remember when I was... Because you got to remember, there's 3 Somali fighters. Somalis back their own. Everyone who comes for Imran, anyone who comes from Saber, anyone who comes from me, is supporting the other 2 as well.
Yeah, it's fast.
And I was fighting last. So, like, for example, my guys, they might have come later, so they might have missed 1 or 2 of their fights. But by the end of the night, it's like, pretty much all of Imran's people were there for me, all of Saber's people were there for me, and then all of my people. I remember that day, Imran fought, and he was the first one. And he's not really a social media guy putting things out there.
Yeah.
I was there watching that fight. When he walked out, the pop he got, I was like, oh my days, tonight is going to be a mad thing. Like, that's it. I was like, yo. I was like, this guy don't even speak to no one. Like,
yeah.
I was like, whoa. Saber's fight, I missed it because he was 2 fights before me. I was getting warmed up.
He was getting warmed up, yeah.
So I couldn't think it. Then when I walked out, I remember that it was something like I never experienced. Like, it was just crazy. That day that the fans was crazy. And when Sabri said that, and he said that he only managed to enjoy it like after the win or something.
Yeah.
It took me back to it, and I just started thinking. I was like, man,
He's right.
I'm glad that I'm glad I enjoyed that moment, and I soaked it all in.
Yeah.
Because imagine I just went like hard mentality, go to the cage, blah, blah, and then by the time it's done, you forgot. Like, you don't realize how crazy those cheers were, and then you realize, like, in some way, I didn't really see the whole magnitude of the thing until after. I said, you know what, that day was actually crazy. Like, I ain't seen nothing since like that. So, yeah, man, the journey's important, man, and it's mad to see where we come in as Somalis.
Yeah.
There was us three, that card, and then I remember last December, me and Imran fought, and 2 other Somali guys, Farah from America and Jess from Holland, bro, they flew out to come watch us.
That's bad.
Yeah, like, when they told me, I was thinking, yo, flights from America ain't cheap. Flights from Holland, it's your time, you know what I'm saying? There's guys in the ends that can't come to your fight. They come with some nonsense excuses and that. Shout out to the time wasters, bro.
Hey, listen, now he's talking.
There's too many of them, but that's a story for another day. Like, but these guys obviously come out. But that's Somalis in our essence. Like, we really go out of our way to support, whether it's in good or bad.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true. Now you got a lot of pressure on you now as well. There's a lot of kids that, well, this is what I always say. Whatever you do, there's someone that wants to be in that field and looks at you.
Yeah, someone wants to be where you're at. Yeah,
basically, whatever you do.
I wanted to be where I'm at once upon a time.
Yeah, there you go. Then there you go. You know we got a thingy right here down the road. Yeah. UFC champion.
It's mad. Leon Edwards,
just down the road, man. I'm sure now as well people are looking at him.
Yeah.
Probably no one in Birmingham wanted to be a UFC fighter, and the minute he got that belt, now people are looking at him.
I remember when Khabib fought Conor. It was on a Saturday.
What a moment.
Tuesday, the gym, there's about 20 registrations and that. 20, you guys want to start wrestling and that.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The buzz, like, this, you can really inspire people, innit? By doing something great and that, man.
No, mashallah. I want to ask you, and this is, I'll probably put you on the spot a little bit. So everyone always has, this is how I always end it usually, with advice. So what's the best advice that you've ever been given? So I know everyone gets it here, the left, right, centre, but what's the one that you thought?
That really sticks for me.
Yeah, I resonate with this.
I've got this one in my head 100%. And I've probably been given a lot of advice, but this is one that is really just... There's a few that I'll probably... I remember... I'll leave the main one to last, but I remember one time, Adin Kian, he said something to me. He was saying to me, like, I think he had to go sort out some stuff for his... I think his businesses or...
He sponsors you, by the way, does it?
Yeah, PT Academy.
Yeah, I had to put
PT
that in there.
Academy, Fitbox, Love Chai.
Shout
They're about. Ruthless Strength, yeah. I think Adam he had to go sort something out to do with his business or something. And he was saying to me, he was like to me, yo, man, yesterday I just went to deal with whatever. And I had all these things, yeah. And I was thinking, like, when I'm dead, like, this is all gone.
Wow.
Like, he said something, and I was like, when I'm dead, this is all going to be gone. Like, he's like, we ain't here for long. Like, just that line, it just hit me. It's like, we ain't here for long. And it really ain't. Like, bro, he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably like, maybe, you never know when you can die. You can die young, old, whatever. But he just said, like, all these things, I was dealing with this and that. I think documents or something. He said, and I'm just realizing, like, what's gonna happen to do with all this? It's irrelevant. He's gone. It doesn't matter. This can go to anyone. It's not gonna affect him. I told you what I'm saying. But yeah, that was one thing that I remember he said to me. He's like, yeah, like, we're not gonna be here for long, innit? So we just gotta do good while we're here. And then the main advice I'd say, this is one thing that my mum taught me from young. I think there's a hadith, not the exact, but very similar, I think, but I don't want to quote. And it's like, obviously, growing up, my parents were far from rich. There was times where it was peak, but alhamdulillah. Tough times make tough men.
Aye, go on.
Yeah, and now when you look back, it's like you don't complain about anything. And I remember mom used to always say, obviously, being a kid, you're a kid. You always want the nice things, you want the new things. But trust me, me growing up, I had very few of those new things. But alhamdulillah, my parents, they did everything they could. They went out of their way. They struggled. If they didn't have, they went and they found it. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But my thing, I was mature in the sense that I was like, I know my parents are not in a good situation. I'm not gonna ask for that new thing. Or that's how I was.
There's no need. Yeah.
But I remember mommy gave me one advice. She said to me, she said, in life, when it comes to world dunya, she like always look at people with less than you. When it comes to religion, look at people with more
than you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's one thing that my mom always said, and I keep that close to me, man.
Well, that's big still.
Yeah. When it comes to dunya, look at the one with less than you. When it comes to religion, look at someone who's got more than you.
Oh, that's big. That is. I might use that myself from now on, bro. Write that
man.
down.
Shout out to mom. Give my mom that.
Yeah.
Give mom.
I'll leave it there. I'll let it play out.
Yeah, mom, you get me.
MashaAllah. Now we're gonna have to end it there. Wallah, Muhidin, thank you for coming, bro. I appreciate it. May Allah give you all the success in this world and in the afterlife. And inshallah, bro, I'll come on the deployment, man.
Inshallah, Ramadan.
Inshallah, yeah.
Ramadan's the best time as well.
Last 10.
We'll see.
Or just regardless,
Allah
anytime.
alam, yeah, Ramadan is different. You know what I'm saying?
Inshallah, come on. Inshallah.
Man.
When's your next fight, by the way?
Next fight plan is beginning of March, just before Ramadan.
Okay.
Yeah, January, February, 8 weeks, get ready, hard training camp, and then beginning of March. I'm back.
Inshallah, he's back,
I'm
man.
back.
He said it. We're gonna have to end it there. Thank you so much for watching, people. Right now, I know the England game's on, so that's the sacrifice that I made. England, Senegal. I don't know what the score's gonna be. But listen, if you rock with us, make sure you subscribe, man. If you haven't subscribed already, then subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, then thank you for tuning in. This is my brother Muhidin Abubakar. May Allah give him everything in this world and the afterlife. Thanks a lot, people.